Hello guys and welcome to the Ascent tutorial. In this video I will go in depth with everything you need to know in this game. This game is an ARPG, action role-playing game, title, which is along the lines of Diablo, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, Grim Dawn, etc. that draws its ideas from Cyberpunk 2077 and has used a lot of reference to it, but is not directly related to Cyberpunk 2077. It is overall an enjoyable game and is easy to clear. It is primarily a PvE game which you can either play solo or play with your friends in co-op mode. Without further ado, let's get to the details. Weapons. There are only 5 types of weapons in this game, which are sidearms, machine guns, shotguns, precision, aka sniper rifles, and excessive, which are rocket launchers and miniguns. You cannot use melee weapons in this game. You can equip 2 weapons at the same time but can only use them one at a time. It does not matter if the weapon is equipped as your primary or secondary, there is no bonus effect or downside attained. There are 4 types of damage in this game: ballistic, digital, fire and energy. From my experience, I have barely ever used digital and fire damage type weapons. I focus on ballistic and energy and it will carry you all the way to endgame. If you want a suitable combo of weapons, use a machine gun and a shotgun in early game. Stick to ballistic damage type for early game. Then when you start encountering robot enemies, make sure to have a ballistic damage type and energy damage type gun. This is because from mid-game to end-game, you will encounter mostly organic enemies, which are vulnerable to ballistic damage, and robot enemies, which are vulnerable to energy damage. You will need both types of weapons because there are times you can encounter both organic and robot enemies at the same time, hence, you will need to weapon swap. I find all other weapon types unnecessary to complete the entire main quest of the game. Just sticking to machine guns will do, or machine guns and shotguns if that's what you prefer. Here are some specific recommendations for weapons. Use HAB Defender PPW for early game. This is the earliest machine gun you will get. Ditch your P1 Protector starting pistol because it is very weak. Once you get the Riot Shotgun, use it. It is a decent shotgun that will help you early in the game and you can upgrade it. Upgrade your HAB Defender PPW and Riot Shotgun to MK3. Then once you get the Dread machine gun, use it. I have upgraded mines all the way to MK5. Ditch HAB Defender PPW as it does low damage from here on out. The Dread machine gun will carry you for most of the mid-game until you get the HMG-42 Dominator, which will be your next and final tier of machine gun that can carry you to endgame. Once you get the HMG-42 Dominator machine gun, upgrade it to at least MK7. From here I would recommend getting one of the unique weapons instead to jump to a higher damaging weapon, which is namely the Overwhelmer. Around mid-game as well you will start to get the E77 Superior, which is an energy assault rifle. This is good against robots and it will help you a lot. I suggest upgrading it to at least MK5 or 6. I then highly recommend getting the EBR Enforcer Energy Assault Rifle, which is lootable, as it is a fire and forget energy burst assault rifle. It is good against robots and does more damage. You can max this out to MK10. Fighting spider robots with this weapon makes it very easy as you can easily just keep firing to take out the mini spiders which keep on spawning. The Overwhelmer is a unique weapon and is easily available just at the edge area, however it is guarded by high-level mobs. It is recommended to be at least level 25 to get it. You can try getting it at a very early level but not without dying a lot of times trying to do so. Once you get this weapon, max it all the way out to level 10. It is not mandatory to get this weapon to finish the game's main quest however, but it does more damage than the HMG-42 Dominator. For reference, I finished the game's last quest with the HMG-42 Dominator at MK7. Upgrading your gear, weapons and armor. I would argue that your real, actual currency in this game are upgrade components which are used to improve the damage of your weapons and not Eucrits. This is because upgrade components are limited in this game and are extremely important for improving the damage you deal. Damage is king in this game. The more damage you do, the faster you clear mobs and the higher your chances of survival. In the start, you won't have enough Eucreds in this game, which is the currency of this game. However, you don't really need to buy weapons because you can loot them. There is one weapon though that can only be acquired by buying it, but it is not really that powerful. There are 3 types of upgrade components. Basic. Advanced. Superior. You will need all three types to upgrade a weapon from MK1 to MK10. Upgrading a weapon improves its damage. Only weapons can be upgraded in this game. You can see how many components you have for each type by going to your character view, press tab, by default. Basic and advanced components are easily farmable from bounties. Superior components are quite hard to drop and are very rare. They are usually found at endgame levels such as the Scrapland. You will need one superior component to upgrade a weapon to MK10. Hence it is advised to only upgrade the weapons that you will use and only invest more upgrade components on weapons that you will use in the long run. This is why I suggested only upgrading weapons to a certain tier level. It is not necessary to max out a weapon while in mid-game because if you do, you may even waste your resources when you get a weapon that has a higher base damage. This will then force you to farm. However, if you are a completionist, it is possible to upgrade every weapon to max rank by farming a certain endgame. With regards to upgrading weapons, you can upgrade them by visiting a weaponsmith hammer icon on minimap. Clicking on the weapon will prompt you to upgrade the weapon. Weapons are colored according to their power, which is gray, orange and purple, which reflects in what tier they are, i.e. their MK level, with gray being the lowest and purple being the highest. You can also change the skin of your weapon here. With regards to spending U creds, I would recommend only spending U creds for buying armor, tactical, augmentations and modules, because loot in this game is RNG. If you happen to keep getting bad drops, you may as well spend your money to buy better armor if there is one that's better. Unlike weapons, armor cannot be upgraded. The stats in armor are finalized. Also, there are no specific locations where a specific, powerful armor is located in this game. Acquiring armor through loot is solely based on RNG. Armor is just as equally as important in this game because it is what mitigates incoming damage to you. There are 3 armor pieces in this game which are head, upper body and lower body. Each armor piece offers defense against the 4 damage types mentioned in this game, which are ballistic, digital, fire and energy. An armor piece may also offer some bonuses to an attribute, which will be discussed next. It is recommended to stack on ballistic and energy defense because these 2 damage types are the most common in the game. In early game to mid game, you may find yourself browsing through armor that offers better stats in one field than the other. This is normal because there is no best armor piece that you will find at this stage. It is only when you get to end game that you will get an armor piece that offers high protection on all 4 types of damage. Like weapons, armor is colored according to how much defense they provide. Gray armor represents shoddy quality, orange represents decent quality, purple represents superior quality armor. Remember to check the armor shop often, especially when progressing to the next parts of the main quest as enemies get tougher. The higher your defense, the less likely you will die. Attributes. Attributes affect certain effects of your augmentations. The higher your attribute, the greater the effect will be. This is where certain character builds can come into play, and hence certain playstyles, but attributes it is entirely secondary in my opinion in finishing the game because the bulk of your damage will be coming from the firepower of your guns, not your augments. Augments require energy to use, while weapons don't. Weapons only need to be reloaded and ammunition is infinite in this game. Hence, I would advise just focusing on getting the best weapons and armor in the game and don't mind too much about attributes unless you really want to use augments and rely on them more than your guns. Augmentations. Augmentations are skills that you can use to improve your combat in the game. You can equip 2 augments at a time. You can buy augments from the grafter. You can equip augments at any time, but it will drain some of your energy. You can equip an augment without this penalty by going to a grafter instead, represented by the DNA icon in the minimap. At the start, you will have the hydraulic slam. This augment is powerful enough that you can use all the way to endgame. I use it against shielded enemies or enemies that are tanky. It provides a knockback effect, buying you time to retreat and keep your distance against more powerful enemies. The other augment that I would recommend is the neutron beam, which is buyable at the grafter around mid-game. You shoot a big laser beam that damages all enemies in its path. You can channel the beam 360 degrees if the mob will surround you. These 2 augments alone are enough to carry you to endgame. You have something to push back your enemies to provide you space to retreat and a damage augment to clear mobs. You can use other augments of course at your own discretion. Modules are passive effects applied to your character. You don't need to press anything to activate them. They are activated the moment you equip them. You can buy modules from the grafter. 2 modules I would recommend are Speed Heal mod to boost your healing and Tactical Charge to increase the rate at which you can use your tactical gear. Tactical gear. You can only use 1 tactical gear at a time, but you can change it at any time without any penalties. You start with Shockwave Grenade, which is a non-lethal tactical that provides knockback effect. I would say that this tactical is redundant because you also have Hydraulic Slam, which provides knockback and is much more spammable than Shockwave Grenade, because for tacticals, you need to keep recharging it in order to use it, while augments only require energy to use. Energy regenerates over time, while tacticals can only be recharged if you keep hitting enemies. I would advise changing this tactical to something else that either does more damage or gives you health points. Rejuve Field. This is one of the best augments I would recommend as it basically provides you free health. You deploy a healing beacon that recharges your health over time. If your tactical sense skill is high enough, you can easily have Rejuve Fields ready and reduce your chances of dying. Pocket Mech. This augment allows you to use a robot with a minigun to attack your enemies. It is not strong though, and you still take damage even while you're using the mech, and it makes you move slower. It does make you look cool for doing so. AT-4 Auto Turret. You can use this in the meantime if you don't have the Rejuve Field yet. It gives you a turret that fires at enemies, and also enemies will shoot at it, acting as a temporary tank. You can buy tactical gear at the tactical shop, represented by an eyeball shape with sine wave in the minimap. There is no level cap in this game, but your skills can only be leveled up to 20. Each level you gain gives you 3 skill points. There are also skill point drops scattered throughout the game which you can get, which grant you 1 additional skill point. Skills. Skills are important in this game as they affect the performance of your character. There are 8 skills in the game, which are Tactical Sense, Critical Hit Rate, Weapon Handling, Aiming, Balance, Evasion, Vital Signs and Body Battery. I would recommend leveling up Critical Hit Rate to maximize DPS, Weapon Handling to reduce reload times, and Aiming as well. Balance isn't really that useful, but it can aid you if you get staggered or if you are using excessive guns such as miniguns. Tactical Sense is important if you want to keep using your tactical gear often. If you want to play a build that uses tactical gear often, then you may want to maximize this. Vital Signs increases your max HP, which is important. Body Battery increases your max energy, which is also important. Evasion is important if you want to evade often. However, I do notice some diminishing returns if you keep leveling it from level 14 and upwards. It felt almost no difference. I would have instead placed the spare points on Weapon Handling to decrease my reload time and increase my DPS. Note: with Weapon Handling at rank 15, there are some weapons such as the EBR Enforcer will have instant reload times. This is beneficial because you can spam fire the weapon without any delay. Bounties. These are random enemy mini-bosses that when you kill, are guaranteed to give you a weapon upgrade component and their bounty. Once you collect their bounty, go to the bar, represented by a bag icon with a plus sign in the minimap, and sell the bounty to receive the reward of 1,000 Eucrids each. As for crime, there is no penalty at all for killing civilians. You are free to kill as many people as you wish. User interface. Your minimap is shown on the top right. Each time you enter a new area, the name of that area will be shown here. Enemies are marked in red. Dots marked in yellow are potential enemies. They become enemies if you get too close to them. Allies are marked green. The only allies in this game are turrets in cities or when you hack turrets with your cyberdeck. The lower section shows your health, tactical charge and energy level. You can recharge your health by picking up red cells, you recharge your energy by picking up blue cells or just waiting over time. You recharge your energy by either picking up yellow cells or hitting enemies. Note: every time you change your tactical gear, it will reset your tactical charge, requiring you to hit enemies to replenish that charge again. Your currently equipped weapon is colored red. If your tactical gear is colored blue, it means you need more tactical charge before you can use it again. Your augments are shown to the right next to your energy bar. If your augment is colored blue, it means that you need to wait for its cooldown to finish before you can use it. Your level is shown at the bottom. How much experience you need to the next level is also shown next to it. The map is stacked into 4 layers like sheets of paper. Press M to view the map. You can change the layer view by pressing Q or E. Deep Stink, the level at which you start. The Warrens, the lower level of the game but above Deep Stink. This is where you will encounter your first town, Cluster 13. High Street, the upper level of the game. It has higher level mobs than the Warrens. The Pinnacle, the topmost level. It only contains one area and is accessible only in the later part of the main quest in the game. One critique about the map is you can't set custom waypoints, which can be frustrating if you want to get to a certain area. Pressing O in the game will ping you to where your current objective is. If you don't have any current objective selected in the tab menu, then your ping will not lead you to anywhere. There are a total of 27 side quests in this game. Some are visible in the map, some are inside buildings. It is possible to blitz through the main quest and ignore the side quests entirely, which is what I did with my playthrough. I do not recommend it, however, because doing the side quests after the main quest will make it feel like a chore rather than inducing you with dopamine for progressing your character in the game. Not all side quests should necessarily be done, however, as some are gated by higher leveled mobs or are gated by area locks until you progress the main story. It is recommended to search a guide for each side quest you want to do to see any bottlenecks. For instance, a side quest can be offered at a mid-game area but actually leads you to end-game areas or an area with high-level mobs. Transmogrification. You can change your appearance at any time by going to the stylist represented by the paintbrush in the map. You can change what each armor piece looks like without modifying its stats. It costs 2,000 Eucrids though to change each armor piece appearance. Hacking is done by pressing C. You can hack doors and chests which are ice-locked. Ice is an encryption. There are 3 tiers of ice encryption which are from 1 to 3. You need to get cyberdeck upgrades in order to hack a higher level of ice encryption. Cyberdeck upgrades are scattered throughout the map. You can see all cyberdeck locations with my video guide. Conclusion. Overall, having achieved 100% completion, I would say that this game is an enjoyable PvE grind experience, but once you're done with it, it's a one and done experience. You can replay it once you have beaten the game's final mission with a friend, but however the motivation to do so, at least in my opinion, isn't that appealing. I hope you enjoy this guide. If this has helped you, consider liking and subscribing. Happy gaming!